Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyway. All right. Guess we'll just jump. Welcome to Neon Valley number 2.
The second.
The second.
Hello.
That's right. I am Skorge. You can call me Tyler.
I'm Tsuku. You can call me Mitch or Mitchell. I go both ways.
We're going to start off this episode just by going over some comments from the last episode. And by comments, I mean a singular comment from a Gerbils. He said, love the podcast episode. If y'all keep it going, I'll keep trying to come up with some head-scratching questions.
Thank you.
So, thank you. We appreciate the love. If you want to be shouted out in any of our episodes, be sure to comment in the Discord or on YouTube. Oh, God.
We'd love to see the questions you guys have. We're super excited to hear different ideas. And, yeah, we're here to listen. We're here to grow and probably just turn away all the knowledge that we learn along the way and revert back to who we are as people. All right.
Yeah, we're not meant to learn anything from this, obviously. Sorry. This is a very kind of natural podcast. We're not really going for anything super professional here. So we're welcome to any and all questions, any and all peoples, except for you know what? I'm not going to say it.
Demonetized.
Could you imagine? The controversy. Anyway. All right, so I think we had some questions from the Discord. Mitchell, did you want to read off a few for us?
No, I don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Goodbye, everyone.
So, goodbye. No. First one is from Why Username. Very philosophical. Where did your names come from? That's a good one. Let's start with you.
Okay, well, I believe my parents probably had a little bit. Oh, like our fake names. Okay. No, Skorge legitimately
Real names.
kind of originally I went by Skorge, which is SCOURGE.
Mm-hmm.
The scourge of the earth, as it were. But on YouTube and SoundCloud there was another DJ. Yeah, oh man, you have no idea. And I think it even means to like whip something, like to scourge something is to like whip something. I don't know. It's very hardcore, But also a white man whipping, not a good look. So I had to change
recommend
that.
It.
No,
Would not recommend it.
Someone on YouTube had the same name already. That was like DJ Scourge, So I was already making a bunch of like brand stuff, not like legitimate merchandise or anything, but I was already trying to do a lot of branding around that name. So I was like, well, I need something kind of similar because I already have like a song or two that's getting some kind of traction on YouTube. So I
remember YouTube videos with that spelling of your name.
Yeah, no, there's still some with like the background image that you can't change, because it's YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it'll say that, but I just changed the title of it to SKORGE. But no, I'll just be completely honest. I'm a fan of the Gears of War series, and Skorge was a name of one of their characters in that, and it was really close to the name that I was using, and I was like, man, the K does make it like a dope kind of thing. And I know a lot of people associate it with Skrillex. That was the biggest thing when I first was like releasing music. People were like, right. Oh, you just picked a name with the fucking first 3 letters, or it's not even it's the only first 2 letters, but you know what I mean. It's like, no, it's actually even much more dumb and long-winded than that. That would be even simpler. I wish it was that simple. I wish I was just like, oh yeah, what's a name that's close to Skrillex? Skorge, got it, nailed it.
Nailed it.
But
put it in the letter. Nailed it.
Yeah. And the rest is history.
That's super funny. It's a pretty natural transition, I would say, to mine, because mine, the short answer, Tsuku, is based on Tsukuyomi, which is Itachi's ability. He's my favorite character, and probably just about anything at this point, like any form of medium, or any form or medium of art.
But you should probably tell for people who don't know what he's from. What?
Right. Oh, you know what? That's a good point. I guess there are like, the people that don't watch anime.
Yes. Yes. The normies out there.
Like the normies.
Like me.
So for you normies,
Like me.
Itachi is a bad guy, we'll say. I'm gonna leave the interpretation up for you in the end.
Ooh, you're making some fucking bold statements.
I'm just saying how he's introduced to this series.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a spoiler kind of guy. I'm not made out of milk. But he has an ability. He's still from the Naruto series. I don't spoil things.
You know? Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry. Okay.
A little head scratcher there.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
But yeah, Itachi is from the Naruto series. He is Sasuke's older brother, and he murders his entire clan overnight for his purposes.
Yeah.
So the reason why I love this guy so much,
you relate to him.
his ability Tsukuyomi. It has the ability that when cast upon the person looking at, so if you look him in the eyes, he can make you experience whatever he wants for as long as you want. So in his first fight with Kakashi, he makes him feel like, I think for 72 hours, it happens in like a second or two, but it feels like 72 hours to Kakashi of being stabbed repeatedly, second after second in those 72 hours, even though it was just a moment of time, and it ended up like knocking him out for weeks. And he's like one of the elite Jonin, if not the strongest Jonin in the village at the time.
You're starting to say words that don't make sense to people.
Right. Bringing it back to normie language. His ability can control the way you perceive time, space, and everything in that moment. So I saw my music as a way where I want you to experience the feeling that I have, the emotion, the message, whatever that is. I'm going to convey that through music. So when you're listening to my music, it's my ability to cast this on you and make you experience what I want to for the duration of that song.
That is beautiful, Mitchell. I hate to do this because that was such a incredible soliloquy. I just there's something weird I think with the audio. With I think I might have your mic doubling up on itself.
That
somehow. Oh God, no! What did I just? Right, let's cut back to right now. Okay, yeah, we should be good. Okay, I think we're fixed. Sorry, Mitchell.
Perfect, fantastic.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. Was that it did kind of cleanly wrap up there with the explanation, right? I believe.
Yeah, no, I think that was perfect. That was, our stories on where our names came from, and I feel good that we provided an answer that the people are really gonna enjoy.
Oh, dude, they're gonna eat that shit up. They're gonna That's gonna be. You know how on YouTube there's a little bar now that shows you the most replayed part. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's gonna be right there.
Oh, it's gonna be the biggest part of the video. It's gonna
YouTube
be like,
Rewind.
Yeah.
It's literally just gonna repeat that for the whole video.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. You're welcome. That's really all I have to say.
You're welcome.
All right. All right. What's the next question? Let's get through a couple more.
Next question from Wire Username.
Oh, fresh, new.
What
Exciting.
is a topic or interest you have that fans or each other may not know about?
Okay, I feel like
I'll try.
You go. Oh,
I was gonna say I'll try to answer one of each. So one that the fans don't know about. I love golfing. I'm really big into going out and golfing.
I was gonna say that's the easier one to answer a little bit.
Yeah, because one that each other doesn't know at this point. Like, I just feel like if you're someone's best man in a wedding, it's really hard.
Yeah.
To have secrets.
True. All right, then we'll go back and forth, I guess. So yeah, for me, for like the fan answer one, I guess I may have mentioned it before in live streams. I'm not too sure, but I don't know. For people listening to this, I'd like to dabble in video game design a little bit, mostly just like 2D kind of Super Nintendo style games. Just as like a hobby, just kind of dabbling in the coding of it all. And I feel like I do that thing where I dip into it for a month and then learn a bunch of shit and then stop for about 3 months and then try to get back into it after that. And then I've forgotten everything. It's almost useless. It's not important.
No,
Uh,
that's the answer. That was
yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, dude,
So well
stop!
said.
You need to
People
stop.
can relate to it.
This half of this podcast should just be us like hyping each other up. I think that would. I think fans would really like that. I think they would really. They'd be like, man, they're
The
so
Two Bros
positive.
episode.
Yeah, they're so positive. Uh, all right. Okay. Do you have one that you think that I don't know about? Because I don't know.
That
That's
you
tough,
don't
man.
know about. Yeah, that
Like a
one's really
hobby or
tough.
an interest. I mean, that's.
I would say a read. I don't know if that counts as something that
A
you think I would
read?
do or not. But at the same time, it's also manga, so I feel like that wouldn't
Oh,
be a shock to
you
you.
read. Oh, okay. I thought I
I
was
mean,
thinking REED. I don't know why. Oh, read. I was like, what does that mean? I was like, what do you?
you're like, there's no way he reads books. It's
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
be.
That's so far away from my mind. I'm like, what?
Yeah, okay, so maybe that was a good one.
But I've bought you a manga, so I kind of knew you.
Yeah, I read it. It was Demon.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at it. The second you said that, I have my mangas lined up by my desk, and that's
Yeah, so that doesn't
that
really
one's on there.
count. Yeah. Uh.
Hey, you provided to that.
Yeah. No, that's tough. I don't really think. I mean, maybe. I mean, but I think you kind of know about my VHS collection thing. Like, but it's not even really like
Yeah,
a collection. You just, but it's. I just.
I can play the hook from what is it? Smoke on the Water on the guitar. I don't.
I don't. What does that have to do with anything?
If you didn't know about it, I guess
Oh,
that's the thing that I can do.
You know what? There you go. Clearly I was so confused I didn't know. Boom! Wow, that's incredible, Mitch. Well, good job. Uh.
I practiced that one time at a guitar club after school,
Oh yeah. That's.
and then never figured anything else out past that.
I
I was like,
can't.
I'm gonna go be famous doing this now. Bye.
I can't think of anything because I'm always so obsessed with showing people my hobbies usually, and I'm not usually trying to like monetize it or like trying to, but I like being like, oh,
You
I
create
made a
art
thing.
for others to enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, I again, like I think you know about this, but I haven't done it for a while, but I used to do like clay modeling, and like I used to like making like horror monsters. Like I would make like masks and like horror
Oh yeah,
monster
yeah,
stuff.
I do remember that, and I thought it was funny, especially with the clay monsters, because I'm like, I know like claymation like creeps you out in a way.
Oh yeah, because yeah, that's the thing is I would never make them to like animate, you know, like I wasn't making that.
But
That
in my
there's
mind, I'm like, it would be perfect. Like you have the
ugh.
figures for them.
Yeah, I hate animation. Always creeped me out. I don't know why. Well, no, just specifically claymation. It's like the stuttery. There's some of it that doesn't bother me, but yeah, ugh. It's that weird spot. I don't like it. All right.
Next question.
Yes. Next, let's do one or
Gerbils
two
mixing
more.
it up.
Yeah.
Best cereal of all time.
Mm. I I may be having
Wow.
deja vu. I feel like Gerbils has asked us this on a live stream before, or something. Because this sounds so familiar, but I'm gonna answer it again anyway in earnest. Because here's the thing: is me and you always say the same thing. Is that we usually have a different answer, but we always say that honey nut. No, not honey nut. What the fuck is it called?
Honey Bunches of Oats.
Honey Bunches of Oats is one of the best cereals.
Yeah, it's so consistently good.
Yeah. But that's not my answer. My answer is O's cereal. I don't know if it's regional, but it's hard to find out here, and it's easier to find on the East Coast. So
Mm.
it's just OH apostrophe S O's, and it's basically just like Cheerio circles, but they have I don't know if it's cinnamon, but it's just like graham oats inside of them, like honey oats. Honey, that's what it is, like honey oats.
Okay.
Inside of the circles of this, of each Cheerio. You know what I mean? So it's like a cluster.
Is it kind of like a honeygram taste?
Kind of. They're not as sweet. They're a little. I'd say they're probably on the healthier side. I don't know though because I haven't had them in a little while, and I'm probably remembering overly fondly. They're probably like super sweet, and coated in sugar and shit. But
Injected with sugar directly to its cord.
no, they're super good. That like That's one of my all-time favorite cereals. If I had to argue what the best cereal, not in my opinion is, but of all time, is probably Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I mean, CTC. Let's be honest.
Okay, so I love it, but I had one that I liked more than that, and it's the I don't think it's their French Toast Crunch. Maybe it is theirs.
The Churros Toast Crunch?
No. There's a French Toast Crunch.
Oh, you're talking about. I thought you were trying to think of a variation.
And that
oh,
is just
yeah.
oh, dude, that so
Oh,
that's my current favorite. As a kid, I would probably say Captain Crunch
yeah, dude. I used
and
to
probably mixed berries.
bro. I used to love peanut butter crunch, bro. Like I would fuck me up a box of peanut butter crunch. I'm actually having memory. I haven't even thought about this in a while. Like the
Dude,
roof
I'm
of my
still
mouth.
vividly getting the taste of that right now because you said the peanut butter crunch. Yeah.
The roof of my mouth is currently bleeding just from the memory of shoveling these beautiful peanut butter crispy balls into my mouth.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Cereal was so dangerous.
Oh man, god damn, that shit was good.
But you got a toy.
You did. You got it.
Oh, if you had siblings.
So unsafe. So unsafe.
Had to
Let's
get
just put
divvied up.
yeah. Let's put small, tiny fucking toys in boxes that children eat. That's fine.
America.
Yeah, I think. Do you like? How do you? I want to talk about cereal for a second here. Do you like seasonal cereals? Like, how do you feel about like? Do you get any of the Frankenberry or Count Chocula or anything?
Yeah, so actually every year, and it's a tradition my dad started, and me and my siblings, both my younger sisters, they love it. And it's just kind of a fun tradition where every year he gets me Frankenberry, Tessa Count Chocula, and Madison Boo Berry. And then yeah, we have a box for the holidays, and that's how we know it's Halloween season. Is
That's awesome.
Dad goes down to the store and brings us back some boxes of
Some
those
Blueberry.
spooky cereals.
That's what. Now, like my headcanon for your family is that your parents specifically had 3 children just so they could do this. Because while there are other cereals in that line, it has been boiled down to those 3. So I think that's it. Like that's because I actually have a box. I'll see if maybe I'll take a picture of it and post it on the YouTube version of the podcast. But I have a box of cereal called Monster Mash. It came out 2 years ago, and it was all of the cereals of the
No.
spooky lines combined.
Mm-mm. Disgusting.
No,
No. Nope.
you judge.
Nope.
You judge. It's delicious. Oh, it's delicious.
Psychopath.
Oh, it's so good. Because what is it? Frankenberry's the strawberry one, right? With the marshmallows.
Yup.
And then you had Boo Berry, which is blueberry marshmallows.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Count Chocula, chocolate, delicious. Right?
Shocker.
3 out of 3, nailing it already, right? And then, man, what were the other ones? There's
Wait, there was other ones?
yeah, they were discontinued though.
What?
Yeah. There's a werewolf one, Fruity Boy. What was his name? I guess I could Google it. I'm literally on a computer. Hold on. I sometimes get so nervous. I forget we can cut things out of this. You know what I mean? And I get like nervous on the spot. Like, oh man, if I don't think of this right now, I'm gonna fucking. Let me look. Hold on.
Oh my God. There's a werewolf.
Werewolf cereal.
Fruit Brute. Artificial
Fruit Brute.
cherry
Yes.
flavored sweetened cereal. Yeah, good. Deserves to be canceled. Him and Count Chocula. Sick fucks.
Hey, listen. First of all, I'm pretty sure Count Chocula is the only one that's made it year round. I don't even think he's the only one that doesn't even. He's not seasonal, right? Am I crazy?
I guess we'll see. Seasonal. But cherry cereal?
Joseph, cut
There's
that
not a
out.
single child on earth who asked for cherry cereal. I'm gonna say it.
Mummy. Sorry.
Mommy. like it took like 2.5 seconds in my head for it to
Just the
figure it
way I
out, but it's
said
really
it.
funny
I'm
to hear just
sorry.
mummy.
Yummy Mummy was the fifth one. I can't. This picture is so fucking blurry. I can't even
I'm
make
I'm on
out.
I'm on Googly right now. I'm looking for it.
Yummy
Yummy mummy.
Mummy. Here we go. Yeah,
What flavor is it?
Monster Mallows. It's orange cream flavored cereal.
Like I almost see what you're going, but
So dejected.
mm,
Oh yeah, I found this cereal, and this is why I kept it, man. Look, this one's already selling for $20 on eBay. That's what I'm talking about. No, there's a box of
oh,
this
Monster
Monster
Mash.
Mash.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it only came out for 1 year. It was like a 50th anniversary thing. I opened it though. I'm mad at myself. I shouldn't have opened it, but I don't care. I'll do as I please.
Here's the thing: you're gonna be the person who made a little bit of money off of it. Or you're gonna be the person who actually got to try it and live like a fucking billionaire. Only you can
Sure.
decide.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense, my dude. All right. Do you have one more question? I'm thinking we could probably do one more.
Yeah. All right. Gerbils. What was the last video game or show that made you emotional?
um, I'm assuming probably like movie too, right? Like I'm sure it's not just specifically video game and TV show.
Legally
I
speaking,
mean,
it
he
is
only did say
absolutely.
that. Yeah, he didn't say that. No, because I'm a bit of a. Oh, I think I hit the microphone. I bet. Yeah, I'm
I
a.
didn't hear anything.
Oh, thank you. Uh, stop.
You're welcome.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
no, I am weirdly emotional when it comes to certain movies and like video games and TV shows. And I don't want to like I don't want to use like pseudotherapy and use someone else's experiences to go through my own. But Rhett and Link of no,
Really?
well, no, I'm sorry, not Rhett and Link, but Rhett of Rhett and Link fame has talked about that he is the same way, and I guess his therapist told him that's because he usually pushes down other emotional things in his life. So during movies, he gives himself the excuse to like just let it all go. Um,
Ah.
yeah, and I don't know why I'm getting deep into this. I just think it's an interesting tidbit. Because it happens with me a lot. Like this for sure isn't the last one. There was more recently, but like the movie Soul, do you remember that Pixar
Yeah, that was
movie?
good. That was really good.
Oh, dude, but here's the thing is like the last like 10, 15 minutes or so, like tears. Like and I'm not saying I was legit like bawling my eyes out, but like I'm talking having to dab my eyes, like legit crying from this movie. And that happens more often than not with these fucking films. I don't know how it happens. But uh I don't know. I'm trying to think of what the last one most recently has been.
Yeah, same. Because I was going to say, for me, anime can usually get me there. And I think that's just due in part to how invested I get into the characters. For example, I've watched the entire Naruto series all the way up to Boruto.
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm, mhm.
current. And I have got emotional equal times. The first watch through of it as well as the second. And it's funny because I'm not even the type of person that likes rewatching things that I've seen. So I think for me, it's all about the characters. So of recent, it might still be an anime, but just one more that I watched more recently. Like I think, and
Like you
I
have one
they can,
specific you can think of.
yeah, they can move me. I think Chainsaw Man has really got me deep
Really?
invested into the characters. It is it's the balance of the violence,
I was gonna say
the
because it sounds like a
funny.
joke. Like because I know about the show. I do know, and I know that the character it's almost kind of tongue in cheek because it's so like ridiculous.
It's one of those, because of how ridiculous the characters are when they do these quick flashbacks into like their past. Sometimes you're just like, oh shit,
It really gets you.
fuck, okay, yeah. Or oh dude, like I get pissed every time somebody gets betrayed. Like fuck Goofy and fuck Donald.
Oh, see, yeah, the Kingdom Hearts. See,
Yeah, the
I never
controversy.
really got into it. I'll be honest. Um, well, you know what? Okay, because he didn't really get specific. He did just say emotional, right? He didn't really say like,
Right, right. There's a lot of different emotions. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be.
yeah, because like I was saying, like I like movies can bring me to like that. Because even when I was saying like they'll bring me to tears, it can be a different kind of spectrum. Like some of them are legitimately sad, some of them are like nostalgic. Like I know like Toy Story 3, the end of Toy Story 3. Oh man.
Oh yeah, that was
Uh,
that was a cheap shot.
yeah, which it almost made me mad
They
that they
should have
made a
killed
Toy
him.
Story 4 because it was
I,
such a
I
good
feel like
ending.
and I'll say I like Toy Story
I
4,
did too.
but they should have killed him.
Should have died. Throw him in the fire.
Give the people what they want in ending.
But yeah, no, like
Hot
that.
take.
But that was a different. That was like a nostalgia. Like, oh man, look at how much time has passed. Like, I wasn't really sad, but it was still a tearjerker.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
but even like recently, like I've been playing Death Stranding on Steam again, and do you know how much do you know about that game?
I'm trying to remember Death Stranding.
It's the one with Norman Reedus. No, is that his name? Norman Reedus. Am I saying that right? The guy from
Norman.
Walking Dead. Uh,
I don't think I played this. No.
and it's the one. Yeah, that's his name. Uh, it's the one that was really hyped up as being Hideo Kojima's next big game. The guy who made Metal Gear Solid and the PT, uh,
Okay.
game and stuff. Um, and obviously others. But when it came out, it just super underwhelmed because it ended up just being kind of a what some people are calling a package delivery simulator, which is really hard to
Oh,
argue with.
that game. Now I remember the game.
Yeah,
That's
with the
right.
little baby that you have on your chest that you walk. It's like a
I
weird
don't
fucking.
remember the baby, but I
Oh, it's
remember
a
having to
weird
deliver
game.
things.
That's the thing is it's so fucking head trippy. It's like because Hideo Kojima is famous for creating these like worlds in his games, right? Where it's like even in Metal Gear Solid, like even though it's a kind of straightforward military game from the outside, when you actually learn about the world of the game itself, it's like what the fuck? There's these covert ops that are made of just like straight androids, and there's a vampire, and there's like you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. There's such trippy shit in his worlds.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time in the world building, so that way it gives it much more of an atmosphere and character.
Yeah, and the same thing happened in Death Stranding where like in this world there's these babies. I mean, I don't know how deep I'm going to get into the lore. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but just like it's just crazy cuz it's you walk around with this baby who has like a direct link with like the afterlife, and I think it's supposed to be like this idea of like death and life being a cycle. So like a baby who's almost still technically supposed to be in the womb is closer to the afterlife, so they can like connect to these like ghosts kind of things.
Oh,
So you use them to detect these ghosts, but literally it is a package simulator game. Like you're basically a delivery guy. Like you start at one post and they're like, "We need you to take these boxes over here," and then you have to plot a route and grab like ladders but the landscape is so fucking beautiful and the music is so goddamn amazing from the band Low Roar, who I actually just found out about a week or two ago. The lead singer died.
oh,
Yeah, and it sucks because it's one of those situations where I had only just recently learned about them like a year or so ago, and I was like really dumbfounded by their talent, and I was like really hoping to see him perform and stuff, and just it's really sad to know he passed. So condolences to their family and everything. I know they
condolences,
have no
yeah.
idea who we are, but yeah, it's really sad. But the music is so fucking good, and like while that Jesus, legitimately, while I'm walking through this world and you hear this music, you just feel like so. It's very hard to describe because I don't even want to compare it to something like when you first got into like a Skyrim open world or Fallout or something, because it doesn't feel like that. It's very just like freeing. Like I don't know. It's an interesting game, but it's not like exciting.
Might have to check it out though. It does sound interesting.
Yeah, every once in a while it's on sale for like $5-10 on Steam and stuff, so it's absolutely worth to grab. I don't know. Do you have another one?
I think one last one for you. I mean, I would answer this. It's completely in my lane, but I think I'll let you field this one.
Okay.
This is from Watchful Owl.
Okay.
What caused you to start creating dubstep?
Oh yeah. Are you sure? That one seems like it's for you.
I know. I know it is even directed, to. But
all right. No, I got it.
Go for it. Go for it.
No. So when I was in middle school, I was in a hardcore band, and I actually had gotten kicked out. And I think I've told this story before on like a different Skorge video on YouTube or something like that multiple times. I don't know, but I got kicked out of that band, and then someone at a mall, at an Apple store, showed me a song by Borgore called Ice Cream Shop. And I think it's called Ice Cream Shop, right? Or just Ice Cream. It might just be called just Ice Cream. Let me look that up real quick. No, it doesn't matter.
Do a quick Google fact check of the podcast.
Yeah, because we need this. Yeah, it's just called Ice Cream. But either way, and it was so fucking weird because it was the first time I'd ever heard anything like that. And then the person was like, yeah, just one dude made this. And it like blew my fucking mind. And I think it was just that kind of mix of the fascination of the music and then also having just been kicked out of a band, being like that, that fucking, well, man, I can do it on my own. That perfect storm of a combination.
It really was, yeah.
I was like, yeah, like that. Yeah, it's perfect. Let's fucking do it. And I had heard other electronic music before, like Bass Hunter and Benny Benassi, things like that. Oh, excuse me. But I never considered it really like, I know it sounds weird, but I didn't consider it electronic music because I didn't know what that meant. I think I was too young. Like when I heard like
it was all techno.
Push, yeah, techno, which even then that word, what did that word mean? I just like computers. Like I was too young to really know anything in that sense. But anyway, all right. I think that about wraps it up for the question section.
Yeah, thank you for the cues, and I hope you enjoyed the A's.
Absolutely, yes. Be sure to join the Discord and or leave a comment on the YouTube video and let us know your questions for the next video, and we will absolutely try to answer them. Actually, there was technically one more question, but it leads into something I wanted to talk about anyway, which was the Video Game Awards.
Oh, yeah.
Which you said before the podcast that you didn't know what that was. You didn't know what it, in general, you didn't know it existed. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm going to explain. So, so video games are a thing that we play sometimes. And there's people who then vote on what the best video games are in certain categories. People are like you and me. They're like... I'm sorry. I know.
I just like that even having to explain deeper. Okay, and by you and me, I mean...
I'm talking about the philosophical ideas of the very sense of self. Like, who are you and I? No.
And then we're talking about stuff.
We're talking about the Socratic thought of... No, okay, no, there's a few things... Okay, did you watch the trailer I sent you for the Judas game?
Yes, dude, I'm super down. I'm all about that.
Because here's the thing, your wife, which is weird to say. Congratulations again.
Your wife.
It's your wife.
That's my wife.
She tweeted about BioShock, that they're making a fourth BioShock, or fifth, I guess technically. I don't know technically what you would consider.
Could be fourth, fourth installment.
Yeah, and it's being written by the creator of or the creator. It's being written by the writer of Far Cry 4 and 5 and Watch Dogs Legion or something. A kind of mainstream Ubisoft writer
Okay.
who has done some
Okay.
good stuff. You know, those aren't terrible storylines. Far Cry 4 was pretty good. You know, I like the villain and everything. But it's a little worrisome. That's what's funny is that right when I learned about that, literally the Game Awards was the same day, and they announced this Judas game, which is from a different company, but it's being spearheaded by the people who did the original BioShocks. So this is almost like the real sequel to BioShock. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like BioShock 4 is going to kind of suck, and Judas is going to be like the real spiritual successor to it.
Oh, I see. Whenever they decide to make another title BioShock, because man, it looked a lot like BioShock with like the hand plasmid. I mean, they
Yeah.
didn't call it plasmid in it, but and there was an interesting comment in the title. It said, "Rebuild what you broke," and I was like, "Oh, does that refer to like Rapture?"
See, I don't think. See, that's the thing is, I don't think they're going to be able to connect it to BioShock at all. I think it's going to be a completely separate thing because I think it's a totally separate company. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how sorry, what Obsidian, how people from the original creators of Fallout went on to make Obsidian games like Outer, what the hell is that game called? Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds.
Yeah. Make games like Outer Worlds, so it's like they're kind of spiritual successors where Outer Worlds feels like a Fallout game, but Obsidian isn't allowed to make Fallout games anymore. Does that make sense? I think that's kind of what's happening
Okay.
with the Judas thing, where this is I could be wrong. I haven't looked too much into it, but that's what from my understanding is that like this is a company that used to make BioShock games, can't legally make a BioShock game anymore. So they're making kind of a similar game as like a fuck you, as like, yeah, we can still make a really good game even without having
Right.
to do it, you know. And it does, dude. The second the hand showed up and it had that power, I was like, oh, I can feel it. This feels so like authentic.
Right.
If I had known the Game Awards was coming up in between our first and second episode, I probably would have been like, yo, we should try to watch it together or something.
Oh, absolutely.
But I didn't know until the day of. I had completely forgotten. But dude, the level of cringe that these fucking like just the long silences for the crowds. They cut to people who are just kind of like shaking their head. Like there was one part. There's one part where I don't know what he was on, and I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying he was on something. But Keegan Michael Key from Key and Peele fame, he came out to do a presentation for Super Mario. He came out to like present a short scene, and he went on this whole like tirade, which I think he thought it must have been a joke that Nintendo like made him do. Do you know what I mean? Because like,
Okay.
because he came out and he was just like, now I know what some of you are thinking with this controversy about Toad. Is it a hat? I'll tell you what, no, it's a cap. And then he pauses, waiting for people to like laugh, and he's like, you know, like a mushroom cap, because it's like a cap. No, wait, hold on. I see the confusion, because some people call a hat a cap. And like, dude, it's fucking silent. Like, it is silent in the crowd, and it's cutting to people,
Oh, jeez.
and they're just like, and he's because he's saying it like it's a joke, like he has the punchline delivery, like the setup punchline delivery, right? Where it's like, now hold on, oh, okay, I see what happened. Like, and you're supposed to laugh, but it was it wasn't funny.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, man, it's really bad. And then he's like, okay, anyway, watch this fucking clip, and then everyone fucking wow screams when Chris Pratt says something. It's really strange
Yeah,
because
no
there's
surprise there.
it's cool to see something like video games have such a very high quality award show. It really has come a long way. Like the stage is super impressive. They had Al Pacino come out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which at one point he literally just goes, I cannot read the prompter. It's too far away.
Oh my god.
But even he looked like he was having a good time. Like it wasn't too bad. But here, biggest news: Elden Ring won, man. Elden Ring won Game of the Year.
Nice. That's a good thing, right?
Yes, it is a good thing. It's a great thing. Now I don't want to speak too much because I know some people were really hyped on God of War winning.
Pokemon did deserve it.
Pokemon wasn't even. I think it may have come out too late, or I don't even know if they put themselves into the running or something. I don't know what happened.
They didn't want to make everybody feel bad.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. No, I think that one may have come out for the 2023 cycle. I think it came out too late, or they didn't submit it. I have no idea. But the funniest part though is that Ragnarok. It's one of those things where when you look at the list of what won in different categories, it's like Ragnarok won best graphic design. It won best narrative. It won best like UI intuitiveness or some shit like that. I forget. It won all these things, and then Elden Ring wins best game of the year. And it's like,
You can have the best in everything, but it doesn't make you the best.
yeah, the sum of its parts is not the equal of the whole, or whatever the fucking quote is. You know what I mean? Like, apparently that's true, because yeah, it didn't bring it home, but that's good. I'm glad I made this note, Mitchell. This is almost specifically for me and you, but maybe it'll excite a few people. Who knows? There's a new game coming out called Party Animals, from the makers of Gang Beasts.
Ooh.
Yes. And it's basically exactly what you think it is. It's like a fully updated next-gen Gang Beasts, like, battle royale. Like, but there's a bunch of different game types now. So it's not just fighting each other. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I thought me and you would enjoy a lot of that. Yeah, there weren't too many other game announcements that I was super excited about.
No Elder Scrolls 6 confirmations.
No, there was.
I mean, they kind of already announced that they were working on it. It's just.
Yeah.
It's
like,
so many
they did announce Death Stranding 2. So that's pretty exciting. So now I definitely need to finish Death Stranding 1. Because there's a...
Yep, in the 3-hour cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. There's a solidified reason to do it. There's a game called Crime Boss Rock City coming out. That, it's basically just exactly like Grand Theft Auto. But it looks kind of fun. There's a new Star Wars game coming out, a sequel to that last one, the Jedi Awakens. I don't remember what it's called. Fallen Order. That's what it's called.
More like Out of Order. I'm so confused with all these.
I know, man. Just put numbers on them, goddammit. Look, Diablo 4. Perfect. That's the fourth one.
Thank you, Diablo.
Thank you, Diablo. All right, so we've already been recording for an hour, so we're going to go into the final portion of this, which is our what do we call this? The movie review time.
Movie recap.
The fun movie review club weekly.
Film theory.
The sick time. Red Letter Media. Game Grumps.
Game Grumps.
Nailed it. No, the name is in workshop, but basically this is the segment where each week one of us recommends a movie to the other person that they had never seen, and then they come back and we talk about it for a little bit. And last week, it was Mitchell's turn for the first ever episode, and he suggested Evita. I kind of suggested it. I kind of nudged you to suggest it. I think now that I remember, because I didn't.
I was gonna say that's an interesting way to phrase it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, because now that I do remember it, I think I said like, wasn't there a musical you like or something? And then you were like, oh, Evita, yeah, that one. And I was like, oh shit. Like I didn't realize. I thought we were gonna talk more about movies or something. And you were like, nope, that one. So I think it was technically my fault. Evita is a musical from 1999 starring Madonna and Who is that? Antonio Banderas.
Ooh,
It's
that's my man.
based on a stage play and a Broadway musical of the same name, Evita, and a book. Similar, so it's got like Les Miserables vibes. It's very similar in tone. I even said
Like a
to
Latin version.
Yeah, I even said to Audrey, I even said to my girlfriend, it's basically like the same premise. It's like if you took Les Miserables but then made it in Argentina. And that's the funniest thing going into this for me is I had no fucking clue. I thought this was like a West
No
Side
reference.
Story. No, dude, I thought this was just about like a woman who was like living like in LA or like New Mexico, and she was gonna like try to be an actress. And Antonio Banderas was like, "Oh, you'll never be nothing." Like, dude, I had no fucking clue. I didn't know. The only thing I knew about this movie was the song, "What Happens Now." That's it. It's literally it, and it's a very vague song, you know. Okay, so this movie sucks. Oh no, okay, it doesn't suck.
Let me ask
It
you
doesn't
this.
suck. It doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. I'm being hard.
Do you know this is based on a true story?
It genuinely does not suck. It yes. Yes. And here's the thing.
Okay.
If I understood the context, I think that this would be much better. I'm playing devil's advocate here. If I That's not the right term, but that's what I'm going with. Because I have no clue about the history of Juan Domingo Perón. I don't know anything about this man. Okay, I don't know about the dictatorship. I don't know about Eva Perón. I don't know about any of this. Okay, so going into this, like I said, I have no fucking clue what it was about. So it's like I told Audrey, I was like, imagine watching Les Mis without ever hearing of French people. You, like, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I was like, you would be so convinced because there's clear context that I'm supposed to understand. I'm already supposed to know the struggle between the public of the public of Argentina and their politics, their leaders, you know? But I don't know that history. You know what I mean? So at any given point in the movie, I had trouble understanding who was against who and who was supporting who. And
Whose side?
yeah, whose side is who fucking on? And Antonio Banderas, whose fucking character did he play? So was he just kind of an overarching character that followed Eva?
He represents the people and how they felt towards her at that time.
Okay,
I
yes.
believe.
And he clearly played multiple people throughout the movie. And I'm assuming that's a play
Right,
on
yeah.
what happens in the Broadway musical. I'm sure they have
Right,
one
yeah,
actor.
kind of like as the narrator
Yeah.
through the people. Yeah.
He was great. Oh, like I have some notes here. Like, okay, so I said it's a little confusing at first. The beginning was a confuse because they have a few flashbacks that kind of don't date themselves. So you're at a couple different funerals and you're just like,
Well,
wait.
you're like, I know it's a flashback, but when the hell did this happen?
No, not even that. I didn't even know it was a flashback until someone said Eva. I was like, oh, that's a younger Eva. You know what I mean? Because I don't think there was a clear indication that this was a flashback to a different
They
funeral.
make it black and white.
Dude, how am I supposed to know? Like, yes, do something. Make it a little fuzzy or something. I don't fucking know. I also put Luigi killing it at the guitar, and I think that's the dude that sings the Thousand Stars, right?
No, I know this song. Yeah.
Yeah, great song. Cheesy as fuck, and I love it how it's played up later, where he plays it again, and she's like, "Your act hasn't changed much."
I would love to be able to learn that because it's such a it's fun. It's
Dude, we
whimsical.
should sample that for one of your songs. Ooh,
Oh, that would be good.
yeah, that's a good one. Anyway, so yeah, before I go too deep into my experience, like I already have, what is your history and memory with this movie and your feelings about it?
The movie overall.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can get into specifics if you remember specifics, but yeah, just overall.
So I have a strong memory of it being the story of someone who was absolutely rejected by the people around her, who knew what she wanted out of life. It's not going to let anything stop her to get there.
Mm,
Um,
hmm.
and then apparently my memory got a little bit fuzzy with maybe the way she went about doing it. Because
Okay.
my mom had brought to my attention recently that she kind of wasn't on the best side of things.
Okay,
She
okay,
did a
okay.
lot of,
All right. This is
and I
starting to
was
make
like,
sense.
huh.
Okay. This is starting to make a little more sense now. Okay, yeah, continue.
So, because I think I got really into like the story of someone who had nothing and would be willing to do whatever it took to create the life that they wanted, and maybe it was kind of disassociating that from the fact that these are really things that she did to people, and people's lives got absolutely uh, changed for better or worse because of it. And yeah, it kind of changes the context a little bit.
Yeah, it it's such an interesting movie. Like I feel like I don't know if maybe purposely it's been swept under the rug by Hollywood or something because it's just so it feels like it doesn't have any moral rule to it. Does that make sense? Like there,
It's like a history lesson that they're just like, we're going 100 billion% on the production value for this.
but even for the history lesson part, like I don't even because I'm sure it's not 100% accurate because it's dramatized. It's a musical, written. It's a play that somebody wrote about. It's like Les Mis, kind of. I mean, obviously not exactly like Les Mis because I think Les Mis uses fictional characters while this one is about a real person. But you know what I mean,
Right.
where it's still fictionalized to create more drama in certain parts, and hype up things. But even
Mhm.
then, uh, it didn't feel like it had any kind of like more like nobody stepped in and said like, "Oh, this is wrong. What you're doing is this is right." Because
Like
even
what message does this?
but even because even near the beginning of the movie, like for example, she is introduced through Antonio Banderas singing, and he says up until she was 15, she had terrible luck and all this stuff until she met Luigi and starts sleeping with him, and then it's made very clear that Luigi is not 15 by any
Yeah.
means. Uh, and then, but that is never because here's the thing: is that it's not like the movie has to look at you and say underage sex and condole, make sure that you consent to it doesn't have to do that. You don't have to point directly at the person and say that. But my thing is it's never even brought up, and I guess it's just a different time. Is that supposed to be the thing? I guess
True, because this was, I think, World War I is like the time era of this movie.
1923,
Yeah.
26, I think it said something like that. um yeah, so I get that it's a different time, but it felt so weird that that wasn't nobody was like, oh, he's such a creep for you. Like they were almost kind of like, ooh, look at him, like he's really coming on to you. This is really romantic. Like, and I was like, this is fucking weird. Like, is this supposed to be
It's
weird?
fucking
I
disgusting.
guess it's just viewing it through this lens of 2022, uh
You're right.
but I couldn't help but feel weird. But it's like your mom said that like I think that maybe throughout time this will be viewed differently because she does make her way up through the ranks. Like you were saying, like she starts off as nothing. She uses it like I guess we'll kind of go through the plot a little bit as we're talking about it for people who haven't seen it. She convinces Luigi to take her to Buenos Aires, to be the next big thing. She wants to
Yep.
be an actress, a singer, the next it girl. Um, and she has her big number, stand back, Buenos Aires, or whatever. And that's the next point I'm going to make. Half of these songs are fucking bops, and half of these songs, like, really fucking blow. Like, some of them are like really bad. But the thing is that I don't necessarily, it's my personal opinion thing where I don't like those very like theatrical, like and you don't have to do that, Jin. You don't stop that now. You know, like where they just become
Oh yeah, yeah,
sentences. They're
yeah.
not even like singing anymore. They're
But
not even.
it's like you're just singing sentences more of instead of doing it like a song.
Yes. Like there's even that whole. There's a whole fucking song that kind of plays throughout the entire movie, not throughout the entire, but comes back every once in a while where it's like there is no man or woman who will ever come in close, and it's like supposed to be saying how, like, she'll never be tied down by any person. She doesn't believe in love.
Right.
It's basically there. But it is the clunkiest fucking lyrics I've ever heard in my, like, I like it, like I just said, I tried to sing it right now and I can't for the life of me fucking remember at all what it is. But I remember the idea, like I get, I remember the idea. Yeah, I guess this is just coming from a musical perspective, from like that. Like, I can see how watching it as a stage play, you wouldn't have any issues, but translated into a movie, it was strange, especially when there's such awesome, like, 70s rock kind of guitar and like 80s
Oh
rock
yeah,
hits, you know
dude,
what
the
I'm talking about?
numbers in that were like some of them are fire. I liked
Oh,
Rainbow Tour a lot.
yes. Yeah, Rainbow Tour near the end, that one actually surprised me, because that's when the movie started slowing down a little bit for me, where I was like, all right, can we start moving? Because it's a 2 hour and 15-minute movie. I
Yeah,
wasn't
it's a
expecting
little
that.
bit lengthy.
I wasn't expecting that going into it. So it started to lose me a little bit, but that was a good song. Antonio Banderas does save a lot of it. He's not. I wrote
He
down.
does.
I did write down in my notes
I wrote
though.
down.
He's not a good. He can't sing act. Where, like, how do I put it? Like, he's a really good actor and he's a good singer, but it never looks like he's singing when in.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in the movie,
Yeah.
it always looks like he's dubbed over. Like, obviously he is. Most musicals are. Like, you record it in a booth and then you dub it over in a thing.
But it's
even
just a
in
little
movies
bit
like,
more obvious than it typically would.
yeah, because even in movies like even like High School Musical, like Zac Efron looks more natural doing like singing parts. Like, something about
Shots
Antonio Banderas,
fired.
I was like, dude, and there are a few parts it looks genuinely fine, but near the beginning, especially like the introduction, I was like, ooh, it doesn't feel like he's doing this. But it wasn't a big deal. You get used to it. You know what I mean? It didn't, like, doesn't ruin the movie or anything like that. All right, let's see. Let's move down my little list here. Oh yeah, sorry, I do have. Some of these are so fucking haphazard. There was a part where Luigi was like warning her about moving to Buenos Aires and starting her, new life and everything. And I just wrote down, he's warning her, because he's like a 40-year-old fucking creep who's like manipulating a 15-year-old, and he's like, now be careful now. There's some real weirdos out there.
He was the danger.
Yeah. And that was the weird part. So there's this whole thing about them going to Buenos Aires, and then they just quietly walk back to his house, and then he has a wife, and then he's just like, okay, bye. And like, that's where that ends. Like, it was just like, oh, like it was just a weird.
Like, what was his thought process through that? Was I should probably tell her.
Yeah, like, because it wasn't.
I'll figure it out.
Because even if that was his thing, where it's like, oh, obviously he's not going to tell her until he gets there, you would think there would be confrontation. Like, oh my God, what? And the wife like fights with her, and it's like, maybe that's even a dance number and a song number. That makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? Like, it can be a conflict thing. But instead it was just like, yep, I'm married, so goodbye. And then they shut the door, and then she's on the steps. But that's the thing, is that's what leads into one of the best songs in the movie. Is what happens now.
Yeah, Suitcase in Another Hall.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. No, and this is when the movie did start to confuse me a little bit more with Antonio Banderas' character, because he kept showing up, and I was like, wait, why is he in Buenos Aires? He was just.
Wait, what? Why did he come out here?
Yeah, I was like, did he follow her? This guy's creepy. And then, speaking of creep, that song ends with the creepy photography dude, which in this movie, it's so fucking this movie's a mind trip a little bit. Like even as I'm thinking about it now, I'm a little tripped out because it kept like flipping the script for me because there was this weird like photographer guy who was just like, you don't have to ask anymore about where you're going because I'm gonna show you. Come back to my fucking apartment and I'll take pictures of you and you'll never have to ask again. It's perfect at representation. And then she ends up using him. Like what? I don't know how it happened.
She's good.
She's good. No,
she's good.
Like I literally wrote down creep is creepy in all capitals, but then I wrote, but at least he's a real photographer, I guess. Wait, this song sucks.
Wait, this song sucks.
And half of these songs are kind of terrible. And then this is where I stopped kind of taking notes, but I do remember more of the movie. Oh yeah, because so then she meets Perón, right? And that's the big thing, you know.
Yep.
You know, that's where all of this is leading up to, is that she becomes kind of the literal figurehead for his political tyranny, I guess, dictatorship, you know?
Yep.
So without her, without her, he would not have become as successful as he was because she was such a voice for the people. And kind of like, but that's what was so confusing, is because they fucking hated her for but then they didn't, and then they did, and then they hated Perón, but then they didn't, and I was just like, what is happening? And if I understood the history with it more, and I would probably understand it, and if I watched it again, you know what I mean, it might make more sense.
Oh, right, with the context.
Yes, but there was just so much that I was like. Because I think the movie was just trying to set up that the elite didn't like Eva. But the way that the musicals were kind of set up was making me think that the public didn't like Eva too, but I think the public did like Eva. It was just the elite who didn't, so they were trying to get her out of Perón's life. Is that correct? Am I kind of correct? Do you know?
So what happened was the elite were always against her just because where she came from. The public initially loved her and fell more in love with her as she did things for them. But over time, I'm trying to remember the one where Antonio Banderas is like reaching through the gate and singing kind of like, you know, things haven't changed for us, but you seem to be doing well. And it's kind of like you're not keeping all your promises. And I think her response is kind of just like, you know, I'm doing what I need to do. You just don't understand. But it really, she's kind of taken a more selfish route at that point.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. Okay, so the general consensus of the public at first was positive.
It shifts, yeah.
But it shifts. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I was kind of I was a little confused at first because there was like a musical number about them not liking Eva, but I didn't realize it was mostly just the elite singing it. Like it kind of took me a minute. I thought it was just everyone. I was just like, oh, everyone doesn't like Eva. Like,
oh yeah, no, like especially when it's like the like the very pompous sounding.
Yes,
it's supposed to be like the fancy fancies.
Yes, which it did seem like they did. Fancies. I do appreciate that they had that separation of like each class almost had a different style of music, like
singing style representation. Yeah.
Yeah, and not even just singing, but like the lower class was more like 70s, 80s rock, you know. The middle class was just kind of like contemporary music, and the upper class was very operatic, excuse me. You know, where it's like they had clear, which I appreciate. I think it was just a weird disposition sometimes to cut back and forth too, you know. Right. But it was still good. It like none of the music, even though I wrote in my notes like this song sucks, none of the music actively made me feel like oh god, I couldn't listen. I think just for standards that I have now with like from musicals I've heard, where I'm just like, oh, that could have been worded better. That was kind of clunky. Like, I think a lot of older musicals felt the need to convey ideas over the musicality. You know what I mean? Like they were like, well, I'm just gonna say something. Like I'm gonna say a complete fucking paragraph of an idea, and I'm not gonna make it rhyme because it doesn't rhyme, and and that's fine. And it's like, okay, it's
Well,
fine. Like, okay, it's fine. But yeah, that happened like multiple times in this movie where there was songs that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way because of that. Um, but yeah, anyway, so yeah, after that, that's where the movie. Like I said, I stopped taking notes because other than the Rainbow Tour, there wasn't much. I mean, there's obviously of course, the song that I didn't know was from this, but I had heard multiple times throughout history. Don't cry for me, Argentina.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
had
Classic.
no clue, no clue that was from this movie. So that was a nice little twist. I was just like, oh, it's like, how about that? I know this song.
You're
That's
like,
like
oh
when
my gosh, that makes so much sense now.
yeah, that's like when I found out. I didn't know that Memories was from Cats, the one that's like Memories all alone in the moonlight. That's from Cats, but I only knew that from School of Rock, where Miranda Cosgrove sings it. So I didn't fucking know what it was from. So yeah,
I don't
we
think
all
I know
learn
that
things.
song.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Cats is terrible.
You should.
And by the way, my recommendation for this week is Cats. No,
Oh no, I was
no,
about
it's
to be
not.
like, fuck you.
Um, oh no, I did have something. I have one more thing in my notes. I don't know who the hell
Oh
is
yeah.
still listening to this. I imagine there's one really passionate Evita fan who's loving this. You know, but there was so she climbs her way up the social ladder, you know, and there's that whole song about her literally using people. And I think that's what your mom was referencing before, where she was like, yeah, she
Yep.
just kind of like, I mean, one of the songs literally calls her a slut and a bitch, and I was very surprised by that.
Bitch. That's right. It's really
Yeah.
harsh, and I like
Slut.
that. I was like, ah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. I don't know how the movie wants you to feel about Eva, and I think that's the point. I don't know.
Right. They're not gonna lean into any one way too much because she's just human who did what
Yeah.
she did, and yeah,
Yeah, it's a very strange kind of view. I mean, I was feeling vibes of the new Elvis movie. I don't know if you've seen that one yet.
which one?
Elvis.
There's a new Elvis movie.
Oh yeah. It's like a biopic. But it's like
Oh.
no, it's really good. It's in this kind of style, you know, like musical thing, using all of his music. And it does kind of frame it in a way, especially his producer or manager, where it's just like, were they good people? You know, like, did he take advantage of Elvis? And like, did Elvis take advantage of, you know, black music and culture and things like, you know, it kind of asks those questions.
Right.
So, but it doesn't blatantly make them out to be bad people. It just kind of goes like, "Hey, these are things that they did. You know, were they doing it on purpose? Were they doing, it's, and that's kind of how this felt. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have anything else more you want to say about it?
What would you give it out of 10? What would you rate it?
Well, give me your rating. I want to hear your rating first, and then I'll give you.
I would say I would want to say 8 out of 10 just for it being something that I've always enjoyed. Historical context might change that maybe down to a 6. But I overall enjoyed it, and honestly, I'm just a huge fan of Antonio Banderas, so that made a huge part of the movie for me.
Oh man, when he first started his song in the bar, all I could hear was Puss in Boots, and I had to control myself. I had to like 2022 me had to be like, no, just take yourself back, pretend he's not Puss in Boots anymore. Everything's fine.
Taking this serious?
Okay, you give it an 8 out of 10. I give it a C minus. Not, no, that's a little too harsh. C, a flat C. C minus is a
Okay.
little too harsh. Minus, I wouldn't give it a minus. I would probably watch it again under the right context, but I'm not rushing to see it again because it's slogged on a little bit. I feel like they could have cut out some things There was very long dance scenes that didn't really do much. And I think just for the time, like,
Right.
musical movies were new. You know, like, not new, but, like, there weren't... I know, like, musical movies have always been around. That's kind of a thing. But, like, I think taking a Broadway musical to a movie like this to make it feel like a feature film was kind of a newer thing. So I think it was... For that, I can give it more credit. Like, it did do really well. But yeah, I give it a C. I give it a C. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what is the recommendation for me for this week?
Gremlins. It's the 1984 classic. Have you seen it?
If I did, it's when I was like a little kid and I don't remember it. I know the premise and what happens, but I could.
Hey guys, Skorge here. So it seems that in the last few minutes of our podcast, we had an audio technical error, which caused a few minutes of our podcast to go missing, which is totally fine. We're not upset at all. We're still new. We're still figuring this thing out, so we appreciate you hanging around. Next week, we're going to talk about Gremlins. We're going to talk about Christmas. Thank you for joining us.